Hi everybody, my name's Kate Fogger, this is Julie Hurt, and together we are making light to humans being, which is very clever if you think about it. I think so anyway. So Julie and I are both soul level intuitive coaches, soul level animal communicators, and therefore we are intuitive, but we're also human beings, and we chat here about how we navigate our lives, how the teachings that we learn just through experience and what we've learned about being intuitive and about the guidance that we get, and how we can use that to help us navigate. But at the end of the day, a lot of the times the human side, shall we say, refuses to be coaxed into what we know to be the easy path. So that's what we talk about here. And today, we're going to talk about unraveling anger. When we're in a situation, a lot of us are uncomfortable with anger. We sort of believe that when you start a spiritual path of somewhere or another, that it's not something to be done. Never mind, as a child, you're taught that anger's not welcome quite often, even though, regardless of your circumstances, there's some understanding that anger isn't a great thing. Whether or not you express it depends on the child, and it's rarely welcomed, shall we say. And we learn a lot of techniques about how to manage that. But what we're going to do here, and what Julie is wondering, is where does it come from? Because often, as we've learned, it's something that's your anger towards something is invariably tied up in something else, because it's all a perspective, that things that make you angry. In a simplest form, I think Danielle McKinnon, our teacher, says that anger happens when a boundary is crossed, and that's not to say a boundary is right or wrong or anything else. It's just that a boundary's been crossed. So in that sense, what you're angry about may be right, may be wrong. It's actually irrelevant. The point is, what is it triggering and why? So would you like to elaborate a little bit more, Julie?
Yeah, and I just suddenly feel like I need to cry.
Well,
Yeah, so
I think crying's a bit further up the emotional scale than anger. I need a book. I don't know.
I know I think my book's over there. Anyway, so because as you were saying all that, like I was to some degree, I'm checking in with my higher self. I'm checking in with my guides. Kelly Ann, our friend that passed away in September, all of a sudden I could feel her right there on my shoulder. So I suddenly feel like I could cry. So there's some things are going on in my life that are just bringing up this anger. And as you said, the boundary thing, Kate, I want to just I'm going to put that like right there. And the other thing that I was also being reminded is a long, long, long time ago. Oh gosh, 25 years ago, I was in therapy. I was going through a divorce and whatnot. And I was really, really, really depressed. And my therapist one day, was a woman, fabulous woman, she said to me, she's like, depression is the opposite emotion of anger. So, and I had never heard that before. And she said, so we need to find your anger and we need to tap into that, which is interesting because that came back to me as you were talking through the introduction. And I do have this very overwhelming sense of wanting to curl up and go to sleep. And when I get depressed, like it feels like cotton in my head. So I have been, and I do also have a feeling that I'm not resting well either. Because I was out of town last week. I took a red eye back, and now it's just been for me, an onslaught of stuff that I'm processing. And so I would much rather it's overwhelming. And so I just want to go to sleep. I just want to, blah. Anyway, so, and I can just tell my energy's low and whatnot. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on with trying to figure out the best way to be a leader. I will say that much. But what's really kind of triggering me is I'm really frustrated about a situation. I can see the path forward. I know that it's not necessarily my way or the highway, although it is for me. And to say that out loud is really hard because I feel like there's all these what do I want to say, these tendrils going right when I say that go right back to that negative belief of mine of not worthy. So if if I have to say, we need to do things differently, we need to do things my way to a degree, but yet I don't feel even worthy to be able to say that. I don't even feel worthy to say, I can't move forward with this. This is way too much stuff. I can't handle all of this. So it's really kind of picking in onto my not worthy. And at the same time, expressing, I even have an opportunity to express the things that need to evolve and move forward and change, at least so that at least I feel like I'm can play there, like be there. That's also to express myself, also is kicking up that not worthy negative belief, because then I have to actually say what I need and what I want. And that's a whole thing. And then there was even something else. I was listening to Sam Lamont, who's Annie Lamont's son, but I was listening to Sam Lamont's podcast that Danielle told me about. And they were talking about letting, as a leader, you don't have to have all the answers. That's actually what a good leader is, someone who is very authentic and very real and doesn't feel like they have to storm in and make all the decisions and have all the answers. But there was something else that came up too about letting people have their moment or their come to terms with what's happening, and you have to let them go through that. And so there was something in that too, but now I've lost that thread. Anyway, so there's a whole lot going on up here, but I can feel the anger. There's like anger in the border aspect, or the boundary thing for me is just like, I shouldn't have to do all this stuff. I shouldn't have to do all this work. Not the work on myself, but this other external work. I shouldn't have to. And that makes me angry that I'm in a position. Oh, this is what it was. Thank you, guides, for getting me back here. I've been in this situation before. I've done this to myself before, where I've been part of a group or a thing, and I just feel like I need to come in and move it in a direction. And people don't want to go that way. And then things don't go well. And so I'm also scared that that's what's happening again. So I have to let the group kind of get to where it wants to go too. Okay. But I also have to make sure it's for me. I don't know. See, there's so much going on. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to connect to my guides.
Okay.
I have connected, but I'm just going to do it officially.
I just hope our viewers can follow.
Well, I can assure you they can't, because I vaguely know the situation. I didn't. What I hear is a lot of I have to, I want, I can't, I can't, I can, I must, I have, a lot of that. And the first thing that springs to mind, and this is absolutely no disrespect to unpaid work, but whoa, did you take a corporate job?
Yeah, it is. I don't get paid for any of this. Yeah.
You know, the sort of stuff you're talking about is the sort of things that you and I had to deal with in the corporate world, right?
Right.
That aside, okay, it doesn't make it any less important. I'm just saying it seems to be way beyond the remit of a voluntary position to have to deal with stuff like this in a company where there are paid positions, right? Including that, you know, okay. So let's get back to you, Julie, because so I heard a lot of if I do this, I can't do that. What's actually making you angry? You say that when it feels like you feel put upon, that you have been dragged into a situation unwillingly.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
But what's actually making you angry? Because typically anger like that comes where, from my own experience of what led to my breakdown, is being given a lot of responsibility but actually not given any power.
Yeah.
Does that resonate with you?
I was just sitting with that for a moment. Well, and it's to some degree what I'm hearing from my guides is there is power. I just hesitate to step into it.
Right. I was going to say, at the moment, it's not available to you. So you feel like you've got all this stuff that has to be dealt with, but you don't actually have the means with which to deal with it.
Personally, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm not worthy to have that. And it's trust. It goes back to this whole thing of trusting myself that Lucas is working on with me, and then I'm working on too.
So should you, if you put aside feelings and the future of what would happen in your relationship in this company or anything like that, do you actually have the power to do what you think you should do, or what you think needs to be done?
To a degree, yes, in that I at least have the power to say, here's what's going on. Here's what needs to change. Here's how I suggest it needs to change.
Okay.
I at least have that power. And that right there, that latter bit makes me super nervous. Because, and this is where my ego is coming in. So thank you, because this is helping to unravel the threads. My ego is coming in with attaching to the outcome. As I say this out loud, this is clearing this, helping me. I'm attaching to an outcome because I'm like, well, it has to be that. Well, it really doesn't have to be that. One thing that has to happen is I can't do all the work. I need help. But if whatever the solution is, I have a solution. Others may have other solutions, but I just have to get to that point where we're actually having a conversation, and I have to trust myself to actually start the conversation. And there's stuff in there too. Does that make sense?
Yes. But why can't you have this conversation? What's holding you back?
Just trust for myself, because stuff swirls in my head. Well, I think I have to have it formulated.
Have what formulated?
The conversation. I think I have to, because I just kind of, and
okay. Yes, but you could spend years going over and over. You've got your facts, right? You've got your proposal.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's not your job to make the decision, is it? Your job is to present to the board or somebody, this is the situation. Here's what I propose.
Yeah.
So again, where's the anger coming from? I don't mean where's it come from. What are you angry about?
Yeah.
Are you angry with the behavior that's caused this to happen? Are you angry because they're asking too much of you, expecting you to deal with it? What are you actually angry about?
I'm angry. I'll say, I don't know if this is the full thing, so I'm just going to say this. I'm angry that it's gotten to this point. I'm angry that I'm put in this position. And I'm angry. Yeah, I'm angry that it's gotten to, I'm thinking of all the full thing. I'm angry that it's gotten to this point, and I'm angry that I'm put in this position. And I'm a little angry with myself for not, this is where I'm going to cry.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is it, and isn't it?
Yeah. That I just don't feel I can do it. It wasn't supposed to be like this. And so I'm angry that I'm angry that I also don't feel like I just don't feel like I'm worthy to be able to do this.
It's not really anger at all.
No, it's just sad. It's scared. It's fear.
So this work I've been doing with Eva Baronius is about exiled or lost selves. If you understand all our different characters inside us, they talk about the parts, whatever you want to call them, the judge who's always condemning everything that happens, the victim who feels the whole world is coming, and that we are all a morass of these constituent parts. And quite often you have some of these parts she calls, it's not her exclusively, but that's the language she uses, they're called protector parts, and quite often they are the louder ones. But what you have to do is look behind them to find out what the need is underneath. So the protector part of you, who's Mr. Angry at the moment, you know, that's the one that's vocal, and quite often we don't get past that. Your first reaction is, well, why am I angry? Whereas actually what's going on is your protector part is rightly or wrongly protecting a more vulnerable exiled part, she calls it, which is either a lost part, it's just a part that you have denied your exists, or an exiled part, which is a part of you that was signaled as a child or whatever, that part wasn't welcome, so it just sort of shunned away. So this is interesting that, so if we go, I'm not just the fear, but like that, so you've been put in this situation and you're all Mr. Angry's shouting about how, you know, how dare you put me in this position. The reality is you've been put in a position that what?
I'll say it this way, so I don't know if this is true yet. I've been put in a position that forces me to step up.
I don't think you're afraid of stepping up, you're afraid of the consequences.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And
what if they think I'm stupid? What if they think I'm silly? What if they think, I mean, that's what I'm afraid of.
okay.
It really sucks. She really can't do this. She really, yeah.
And like, there's actually no evidence of this at all, is there?
No. Which is why I laugh, because I have, yeah, there's so
last week you were at a different stage of this.
Oh, I don't even remember what we talked about last week.
Well, it was either last week or the week before, and it was exactly the same part that's going, you know, but what if I get it wrong and other people don't agree with me, and yet they are actually all looking to you as the expert.
Right.
The only person who has doubts about whether you can do this or not is you. But what's critical here is this, I don't think you doubt that what you are proposing or want to do is wrong, and agreed there is no right or wrong, but let's just say for the sake of discussion, the most reasonable way forward in this position. And obviously I assume if it's a workplace you also have to consider laws and, you know, stuff. That what you, it's not that you, right, let me get this right. It's not that you think that what you're proposing isn't the right thing to do. It's that you are afraid that if people don't agree with you, what that means about you personally, what they will think of you.
Right. Right.
Okay. This is not quite the same situation, but similar. I had the same conversation with a friend yesterday. What if it didn't matter what they thought? Would you still take the same path?
As far as expressing what needs to be done?
What you think needs to be done. Not about expressing it, just about the steps that you believe are necessary to be done.
Yes.
Okay, so why are you playing to the peanut gallery, as Abraham Hicks says?
That's a good question.
Why is your popularity worth more than doing the right thing?
No.
Do you, if you are proposing doing what you believe to be the right thing and other people don't agree with you, does it really matter what they think of you?
So no, this is what I'm now seeing, like the pattern. So multiple jobs where I have gone in, where I have seen issues that need to be addressed in order for me and even members of the other, I end up being the spokesperson for people who don't want to say something, but I can feel the malaise and I want to resolve it. And it's not that it's hard. It's really not hard. It's just,
You're a fixer.
huh?
You're a
Did
fixer.
we talk about this last week? Did we say fixer last week? Who told me I was a fixer? You did, but when did you do that?
No, I didn't say you were a fixer. I said you'll need to educate people.
Yes, that's what, yeah.
No, a fixer. We're both fixers.
Yes, Yeah.
And I mean that in the most loving and most beautiful, you know, a better word for that is not uplifted. That's too far. When you and you know, just so that you don't take criticism here, I'm talking about me as well. When you're in a situation, you can see a better way to do it, and you can see that other people agree with you, but they're not prepared to speak out. You can't just let it go.
No.
Because you have honor and integrity, and you want to do it for everybody. So there is a part of us that's a bit like, I'm right, I'm always right. But you genuinely believe that you have the masses behind you and you're doing it for the greater good and not for your ego, right?
Right.
So
Right.
why do you care if people don't agree with you?
Because every time that I've tried to do that, I've lost jobs. Not lost, yeah, lost jobs.
Well, maybe they're not your people.
No, I know.
And it's really hard when you are with people, especially people who you respect, and then you realize you're not my people because my people would do it this way. That's probably egotistical, but fundamentally, unless you're acting completely out of character, is your solution based on defending your ego, or is it what you think is the right thing to do?
What I think is the right thing to do.
So you don't have to be loved for it.
No. No. I mean, in any of the previous situations, I wasn't, once I lost my job, others I had to leave because
when you say you lost your job, they fired you because you had opinions that weren't consistent with the company, or because you were a bit of a troublemaker?
Because I've only lost my job technically once. And it was blamed on COVID, but see, I'm trying to make excuses. But I called the leader out for ignoring what everybody was trying to get her to see.
Okay.
And then she did a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
If you've been in senior management, and I think you have you?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You have people that are consistently disagree with you. It's easier to get rid of them. It doesn't really matter if they're right or wrong.
Right.
And I can understand that because, you know, especially I don't agree with it, but at a much higher level of leadership, you're going, you stop fucking whinging about the toilet paper. I'm actually trying to put a fire out. The building's on fire and you're whinging about how soft the toilet paper is. You know, so there is a perspective thing. I'm not suggesting that's what it was,
right.
But there is an element of, you know, this, whatever you perceive to be the problem is not of grand importance to people higher up. And I totally understand that because somebody's got to keep the building from burning down before they work. So I understand that, and I think that's something when I was a real royal pain in the ass as an R&D manager. I totally get that because I'll be like, I don't care about your fucking building burning down. I care about the toilet paper because it's my job to care about the toilet paper because I am the toilet paper master. Yeah. So keep your fucking burning building. I don't give a shit. Sort the toilet paper out. But I can see that, you know. And then as you go up through the ranks and you've got not just the toilet paper, but now you have the cleaning cupboard, and then you've got bigger and bigger things, you realize that you can't always pay. Now that's not an excuse, right? But I like people who speak out, but there's a difference between people who speak out and people who whinge. Like if someone comes to me and says toilet paper shit, and I go, I totally agree with you, I hear you, it is shit, I wish we could do something about it, but right now I'm trying to put a fire out over here. Yeah. You know, but they don't. They're just like, shut up, go away, go away. It's like if that person then comes back to me and says, you know, the toilet paper's still shit. If they then come to me and say, this toilet paper is causing people to burn their bottoms or something and it's escalated, fine, come back to me, but don't come back to me. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I'm getting on management speak, fucking toilet paper. Right. My point is, if your solution is not based on ego, what are you afraid? I mean, why would you do things differently just because people might not agree with you? Is it possible that in the past, when this has happened, I mean, you were not the same person as you are now, right?
Right. Yeah.
You're not much more aware of what you're doing, whether or not it involves your ego and whether or not it's the right thing to do. Yeah. And so why does it have to be the end of the line? This is very much sounding like Kate, not the guides, isn't it?
Can I say one thing that as you check in with it is there's the solution aspect. So yes, while the toilet paper could be shit, if I was the person managing the building, and someone said, yes, it's really bad. Here, I have an alternative. Is it okay? You know, yeah, go with it.
Mhm.
Just what I have always felt. And even in this situation, like, here's an idea, here's a solution. Now let's talk about it. What's happened in the past is I've gotten, don't even, you're not worthy is what I would always get for whatever.
And why would you get that?
One place it was because I was a woman. One place.
So why would you, Julie, not the only woman in the world, why would you attract that off anybody?
Because that's the negative belief I'm working on. And so in this lifetime, it's going to give me examples and opportunities to understand it and then work with it, work through it, with it. Oh.
So now, but you're at a different level now. You may still will have unworthiness, but you have a different layer of unworthiness now. Why do you assume it's all going to go tits up? How do you know you're not going to go in there and they're going to go, oh my God, Julie, we had no idea this was going on. That's a fabulous, oh, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? I can't believe you've been put in this position. Let's see what we can do about it. They may or may not agree with you, but you've done your job at that point.
Right.
So unless you are attached to the outcome,
yeah,
you know, this should hold no fear for you, because actually all you're saying is, here's the situation as I see it, as I have, you know, I've spoken extensively to people around, and here's what I see is happening. I've really tried to think of creative solutions, but actually this is the only one that fits, and this is what I believe we have to do. You decide. You don't own it any further than that, do you?
No, I don't. God, that feels good.
So where does the emotion come from?
The emotion comes from judgment. You know,
yeah, that's you skipping ahead to, they all hate me, they think I'm shit, they're going to banish me, I'm going to have to lose this job, this is something I feel this company or whatever it is, organization, whatever it is that you're involved in, I will now have to leave because I will no longer be welcome. You've taken it to the nth degree. Do you really think that your suggestions are going to alienate anyone to the degree that they're going to want to, I don't know, annihilate you?
And even, I don't think so, but even if they did, that's the part that I have, that's the part I'm working on. If that's so, like, I see this clearly now, like, that's the part I'm like letting go of. I don't have to worry about the outcome or what people may or may not think. That's not the point. The point is, this is what I think needs to happen. And that, like you said, then my job is done. That's the point.
Do you ever watch like political drama or whatever, and you see people really het up emotional debating around something really sensitive?
Yeah.
And then it cuts them later and both sides are having a drink in the bar and laughing about it. And I used to think, oh my God, if I saw a Tory politician, I'd have to tear his ears off.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I never understood.
It's so, but it's stupid, because I mean, I like to think that with politics you care more, but this is the whole law of attraction thing, is it's okay that people think differently.
Yeah.
You don't have to kill somebody just because they think differently. There's room for everybody.
Right.
So you know, but you're operating from the position that if you upset or offend anyone with your proposed solution, that they're going to cut your head off.
Right.
When actually all you're saying is, this is my, now that's not to say that some people don't get annoyed, that's fine, but that's on them.
Yeah. That's interesting, is that I've never, and that's why it's not worthy. So that's, oh my gosh, I can see so many things going back to not worthy right now. So I have really worked on, like, through the Course of Miracles, coming at things from a place of love and not fear. So being able to see the divine in everyone and really working on that. If I deem you stupid, I push you off to the side and I don't want to deal with you. I've worked on being able to talk with people of other positions and still, you know, have the conversation and still go to the bar, right? I've been working on that. It's interesting. I haven't done it for myself.
Well, here you go. You can't see it because my pen ran out. This phrase I kept trying to get you can't read it because it's I'm just I have been trying to find this. I keep saying, oh, Eva Bronia says this really well, I don't know where it comes from. I don't think it's originally hers. It's like all these things. It's whatever. What is in the way is the way. So here you have, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Here you have the culmination, the absolute epitome that summarizes everything that you have been working on, Julie. And that is, I'm not going to scorn you or disregard you or whatever because you disagree with me. I am going to hold space for your opinion, and I'm holding my space with my opinion over here. And now you have that perfect scenario where you get to actually exercise that.
Wow. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Because all your fears literally just, it's just that back to little Julie and, yeah, but what if they don't like me?
Yep. Yeah, that's where I went. I went right back to the time at the age of 2 when Not Worthy started, and wow. Oh. Okay, I think we're done now.
The lady, I always call everyone girls, we're still girls, aren't we? A friend I was talking to about it on Mondays, in a very similar situation, except she's been on the receiving end of someone else who has basically turned people against her. That's too much, but she's so angry because, you know, we work, I say we because we are all of the same character. You work so hard and you do everything right, and you spent your whole life actually trying to please people and working to the nth degree to make sure that you've done everything. You are above criticism, and absolutely your ethics are absolutely pristine and spotless, and then some bastard comes along and, you know, throws a grenade in the whole thing, and you go, but it's not fair. Like, you know, but this is the whole point. You know, and then there's like, but I need you to know where I come from. I need you to know that I work really hard. I need you to, no, you don't. Doesn't matter. And that's so hard for us to let go of.
Yeah.
The idea that somebody doesn't agree with your opinion, it to you makes you a bad person. Everybody's going to hate you. You can't just go, oh, fine, you don't agree. It's all right. Whatever.
Yeah.
Fix it yourself, fucker. I don't mean that, of course, but ultimately, you know, you're in that role because they believe you have the expertise to recommend what needs to be done. If they don't like your answer, that's fine. They can go off and do something else.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a confrontation. I think you're so worked up about it because you know, jobs are involved, and that you know, you see yourself as, I have this image of you like going in and going, oh fuck, you know, and you sort of behind an enormous shield going, well, actually what I think, you know, you're expecting an attack. Why don't you, you know, yeah, I see you just walking and going, well, here's where we are, here's what I think, that's what I think needs to happen. You know, happy to answer any other questions you've got. I'll leave it with you. I was going to say gentlemen, it invariably is gentlemen, and
There's women involved as well. Yeah.
That's a very girlfriend, isn't it?
That's a what? Oh no, I was doing this. No, like
I can't click. I wish I could, but it's that sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's that too going on. But yes. Oh, I feel
you don't have to make this okay for them. You just report your findings.
Yes.
You don't have to
watch this episode again. Yeah.
There's so much of this going on at the moment, and I think it just takes us by surprise because you think, no, my problems are so much more complicated than little Kate sitting in a corner crying. No, it's just little Kate sitting in a corner crying, that's all.
Yeah.
It just feels more grown up and it's not. It's all the same playground shit. If I don't do what you want, you're not going to like me. I would, you know, I really admire my children that go, fuck you, do what you want. You know, all the things that all the things that we thought was you were told as a child not to be. I'm like, that was the biggest thing when I went on my first retreat. And so I'd had the breakdown. I think I'd gone back to work, or I don't know if I'd gone back to work. But I was, I was better, but I wanted to continue my practice. And I went on the retreat, and I came away from it thinking, everything that I believed was what made me a valuable employee is what's killing me. Because I used to think how diligent I was, that I lay around at night thinking of all the problems and fixing them and the solutions and coming up with ideas and brainstorming. Every waking minute I had was basically serving the company one way or the other. So everything that made me valuable as an employee, I then discovered made me shit as a human being, as in making my personal quality of life shit.
Yeah.
But we carry it with us forever. If we don't, it's a big burden, Julie, put it down.
Yeah. There's even an element of, I know our teacher, Danielle, has talked about this too, is that a lot of us that she attracts have had past lives where when we've expressed what we've wanted to say, we've been killed for it. And so as you were talking about at some point there, and I actually had a client yesterday who was realizing a past life too, which was interesting. But it's being reminded that there's that aspect too that's raising its little head too. But I can see how it is.
Well, most of us would have been healers and witches and whatever in the past, and
Oof. Well, thanks, Kate. Yeah, that's what it looks like being human, right? And using
it is. And what's amazing is that I can't believe how much relief you can get in a different perspective. It bowls me over every time, because we've done it when I've been like, I don't know, completely inconsolable about something, and then after a few minutes you're like, not quite sure why I'm so upset. After talking to you and getting a different perspective, and you're like, okay, like some of it's so simple. So simple, but you just can't see it when you're in it.
Which is true, which is why, to me too, like I was thinking about this last night too, about it was something else. It wasn't related to this. It's related in that it was still that attachment to the outcome, completely different situation, had nothing to do with this one. But still I realized that the reason why I wasn't feeling good about something is because I was waiting for the like, oh yay, look at you, this is wonderful, like this. I had this attachment to the outcome, and I was thinking through this as I was taking Lucas for a walk, and he's saying to me, he's like, just who cares, come over here and look at this, what I just found. Like, it's so they bring the animals really help us bring things back to the present and bring things back to simplicity and just being in that moment. You don't have that attachment to the outcome. And he continually tries to find skunk dens, and he got skunked last year. Okay. He may not go. He might, who knows what'll happen, but he's like, I'm not going to worry about getting skunked again. I'm going to smell what I'm smelling right now and follow it to wherever it's going to go, kind of a thing.
So getting skunked, is it unpleasant for the animal or just for you?
No, unpleasant for the animal. It can actually be dangerous for the animal too, because it can be really toxic. If it gets in their eyes, if they swallow a lot of it, depends. Yeah. I mean, if it just gets on their coat, yeah, that's one thing. But if it actually gets someplace where it can enter the body, that's a different thing. So, yeah. But he's got it. He's saying to me right now, whatever, Mom, I got it. Don't worry about it. Yeah. And I like to enjoy watching him go wherever he's going to go and seeing what he sees, because I see things I would never see if it wasn't for him and that schnoz of his. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Well, thank you, Kate, so much for taking the time to talk me through this. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I feel so much clearer now. All right. Okay. Whole new day. So with that being said, I think we're going to wrap up, right, for today? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here and witnessing all of that crap. Thank you so much. Please leave comments and questions or whatever in the chat or in the comments below. Let us hear from you as to what you thought about this. Where in your life does this show up? How do you feel? What are you working on right now? How can we even help you? Like, just put stuff in the comments and let us know. My name is Julie Hirt. With me as always is Kate Fago. This is Making Light, two humans really being today. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We release new episodes every Friday, so click the bell so you can be notified when the new episode is here. Share this with your family and friends so we can grow our audience and other people can find us too, so that other people can witness the crap that just that I just worked through right there. And we hope to see you next week. In the meantime, please take good care of yourself, and we'll see you soon.